If you've seen any of my videos before, you probably know that I love Mario Kart. I mean, it's what I made like over half of my videos about, and it's the only racing game that I actually play. With that said, I know Mario Kart isn't perfect, and Nintendo just, misses sometimes. It happens with everyone, like Tyler the Creator. He has some absolutely incredible albums, but also he made Goblin, so he's not perfect. That's kinda like Nintendo. They made Wii Sports, which is like a fun system seller of a game that was free, by the way, but also they made Wii Music, which was, something. The same thing goes for Mario Kart tracks, and in this video, I wanted to look at some of the worst tracks that have ever been a part of the Mario Kart series. I know that some of these games are older, so I'm gonna try to keep in mind of when these games were actually made. This is to keep it more fair and honestly more interesting because it would be kind of boring if I just listed all the tracks from the SNES game. You might be wondering, what makes a Mario Kart track bad? In my opinion, this can be a mixture of different things. First of all, pretty much this entire video is just my opinion, so this is actually just what I think. But some of the things I look at in a track are, does it look interesting at all? Does it have a bad layout? Are there any cool shortcuts? Are there any like really long, boring sections? With all that said, it would seem like the worst track that they've ever made would be Baby Park. I mean, it's just a loop with like no shortcuts or anything. But no, I don't think Baby Park is one of the worst tracks they've ever made, and that's because of the absolute chaos that can happen on this track. Sometimes tracks have this sort of X factor that kind of make all the other problems just go away. But yeah, I'll be judging the worst tracks based on that stuff. So why don't we just start? My first track I'll be talking about is Neo Bowser City, specifically the version in Mario Kart 7. Now I will say that this track at least looks pretty good. The technology aspect here works pretty well, and in combination with the rain, I think the look of this track just comes together so well. This is kind of the only positive I have to say about this track. The turns in this track are maybe a little bit more difficult than the normal Mario Kart track, but they aren't like crazy or anything. They're just annoying. You have to slow down so much to turn here, and it takes all the intensity out of the race for me. Also, why are there these annoying puddles at the end of the track? They're hard to see, and I don't know why water would puddle up on this sloped, curved area. I don't know why I'm a water puddling expert all of a sudden, but I swear it just makes no sense. Also, why are we naming cities with a ton of residents after globally feared terrorist Mr. Bowser? No, I mean the character, not you. Sorry, Mr. Nintendo President. But yeah, this track sucks. I know that some of you have told me that you liked the track in the past, and that's fine, I guess. This is just my opinion. Next track is Luigi Circuit from Super Circuit. I'm sorry, Luigi. I love you, man. This is kind of a repeat from the last track for me because the main problem I have is these super sharp hairpin turns. Also, just like the last track, it's raining, so it makes these turns like 10 times more annoying to do. For a little trifecta of similarities, there's also the little puddles that make you spin out. This track is terrible. Controlling your kart in this game is like trying to ride a bull or something, and because of that, it just amplifies all of the issues this track has by like a million. Love the blimp though. Glad to see Goodyear has some competition. Sticking with Super Circuit, I thought I would also mention Yoshi Desert. This is the only track that just confuses me. I don't know what the hell this thing in the middle is here. Also, the layout of this track really isn't anything special. There's also a pond here that just never really comes into play. Comes into play? Why am I talking like I'm on a golf course or something? Out of every desert track in the Mario Kart series, this is by far the most forgettable and definitely the worst. I'm sorry, Yoshi Sphinx. I really tried to think of a Mario Kart World track I could throw in here for this list, and I did just do a tier list for all the tracks in there. Spoiler alert, the track I ranked the lowest was Koopa Troopa Beach. So like, if anything from that game could make it into this video, it would be that track. But this track in the grand scheme of Mario Kart really isn't that bad. Like, it has a pretty cool shortcut, even though I'll probably never be able to pull it off. It also just looks really cool, so I don't think I can include it or any other track from Mario Kart World into this little list I'm putting together. A track I really could include into this list is Wario Stadium from Mario Kart 64. This track is so bad, Nintendo tried to pretend it didn't exist for the longest time. In DS, they made another track called Wario Stadium that is a completely new track to the series. It felt almost like they were trying to cover up that this track even existed. They even retroed the other Wario Stadium before ever trying to bring this one back. This was almost bordering on a conspiracy theory. It was crazy. At the same time though, they changed just about everything about this track. So I think that says something about how bad this one is. It's kind of like a super long motocross track, but like one in a stadium, you know? There's jumps and wide lanes, and let me just double down, it is super long. This track should have only been 2 laps. I even thought it was 2 laps when I was making this list. I think I got it confused with the double dash one, but no, I was wrong. Also, the ramps in this track are just not fun to go off at all. Like in Mario Raceway, there's this huge launch that you do, and it's awesome. Why is that not here? You just kind of drop off these jumps instead of, jumping off them. In this one aspect, it feels like they tried to make this game a little bit too realistic, which is annoying. Like, why are you trying to make a game where I'm throwing bananas at people while a race around in a go-kart have realistic gravity? I guess since I just mentioned Mario Kart DS in the last section, I should probably talk about Figure 8 Circuit. Can you guess what this track is shaped like? Yay! You got it, a figure 8. Okay, I don't know what that was. This track is just that though. No shortcuts, no jumps, no elevated sections, nothing. There's barely even off-road. I understand a lot of tracks in Mushroom Cup are supposed to be pretty simple, and that's why a track like Luigi Circuit from the Wii is not in this video. This is the kind of track I would play Mario Kart with like my great-grandma or something. Sorry to all the great-grandmas watching this video, I'm sure you guys are excellent racers. I can't really say much more about this track because there really isn't that much to it. So I'm just gonna move on and talk about Tokyo Blur on 8 Deluxe. I'm not counting Tour as a mainline game, so I'll be talking about the 8 Deluxe version here. Never have the Tour arrows telling you where you're supposed to go on a track look this ugly. They stick out like a sore thumb. I think I've said this before, but Tokyo seems like a really interesting place to model a track after. Also, it's like a 2-hour train ride from Kyoto, which is where Nintendo is based out of, so I'm sure they've seen the cool parts of Tokyo before. In the little cinematic right before the race starts, if you look around, it kind of seems like this track is unfinished. Aesthetics aside, the route this track takes you on isn't interesting enough to make up for how awful it looks. There's honestly only one part about this track I can remember off the top of my head, and that's the loop you do at the very end of the track, but that's it really. I could put a lot of the Tour tracks on here honestly, but the only other one I'm gonna mention is New York Minute. It's pretty much for the same reasons, and I don't want to repeat myself too much. I will say, at the very least, the lighting is pretty good. What I really think makes Mario Kart Wii so great is the fact that I honestly don't think a single track from that game could make it into this video. Yeah, I might be biased, but I honestly think that every track in this game is at the very least passable. Like, I know some people don't like Sherbet Land, but I think the cave section is really cool, and having really tight lines in this track is super satisfying. Also, maybe Yoshi Falls, but I really like the options of taking the harder but riskier routes with the waterfalls. Also, neither of these tracks are originally from the Wii, so if you don't like them, there would be a DS track and a Mario Kart 64 track. Or, am I just biased, guys? You can be honest. Double Dash is in the same boat as Wii for me as well. I do actually think it's a little closer to having one of the worst though, because Mushroom City is kinda bad. In this game, I don't think there's enough racers to make this branching path section in the middle make any sense. Also, I always hit the cars, but that could just be because I drive like a 95-year-old that shouldn't have their license anymore. What's with me today? I'm not ageist, I swear. I feel like 8 has a ton of horrible tracks in it, especially in the Booster Course Pass. Sky High Sundae is another one that absolutely sucks in this game. It's actually kind of interesting because this track is pretty solid in Mario Kart World, but oh my god, this track sucks in 8 Deluxe. For some reason, you can fully drive through the railing on the first turn. Why is it here? Why have it if you can just drive through it? The whole background of this track just feels super weird, like something you would see in Super Circuit, but without all the charm. Also, for the middle section, there's a reason why in Mario Kart World they changed the entire thing. It sucks in this version. Legitimately, everything about this version of the track is worse, and I'm honestly impressed with how much they improved it in the next game. Now, you know I couldn't go the whole video without mentioning Super Mario Kart, right? I mean, it was their first try at Mario Kart. Of course they're gonna get some stuff wrong. And by stuff, I mean both Vanilla Lake 1 and Vanilla Lake 2. These are the two worst tracks in the series in my opinion. Who decided to add these fucking blocks of snow that you just bounce off of? I can't describe to you how many times when I was recording my Is This Possible in Real Life video that I hit these things. I don't get mad at video games often. I really don't. Like, as a person, I just don't really get angry. These blocks made me want to explode. Why are they here? Yeah, there's other reasons why these tracks are ass, but this one single edition single-handedly put these tracks here. I don't think I can describe to you guys the amount of irrational hatred I have for these little pixel cubes, but oh my goodness, I hate them so much. Why don't we just call it there? That's enough negativity for the day, don't you think? Did I mention your least favorite track in this video? If not, let me know what yours is. There's other tracks I could have mentioned, so if you guys like this, maybe I can go and do a part 2. Also, I could do one where I just glaze tracks the whole time and talk about the best tracks in the series for one video. I'm kind of getting close to 10,000 subscribers, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be really awesome. Also, like the video if you liked it. Most importantly, just thank you for watching the entire video. It means a lot to me. Comment the word banana if you see this. I don't know.